Let's start with a shocking journey through the dark side of pharmaceutical history, a story where the pursuit of profit overshadowed patient safety, leading to devastating consequences. In the 1950s, a miracle drug appeared on the market, promising to soothe morning sickness for pregnant women. It was called thalidomide. Doctors prescribed it without hesitation, unaware of the horrific consequences it would soon unleash. Weeks after taking the drug, mothers began giving birth to children with severe deformities. Arms, legs, sometimes both, were missing or horribly shortened. Thalidomide had slipped through the cracks of regulation, leaving thousands of families shattered in its wake. This was just the beginning. Thalidomide wasn't the only drug to escape scrutiny. Across the globe, other substances were introduced with the same enthusiasm, touted as revolutionary cures. Fen-phen was another. In the 1990s, it was hailed as a miracle weight loss solution, blending two drugs, fenfluramine and phentermine. But soon, reports of severe heart damage began pouring in. By the time fen-phen was pulled from the market, it was too late. Thousands of users were left with irreversible heart conditions. One of the most notorious banned drugs was DES, diethylstilbestrol. In the mid-20th century, it was given to pregnant women to prevent miscarriages. For decades, it seemed harmless until a strange pattern emerged. The daughters of women who took DS were developing a rare form of vaginal cancer. By the time the link was established, countless lives had been affected. Even more terrifying was the introduction of rofecoxib, commonly known as Vioxx. Approved in 1999 as a painkiller, it quickly became a blockbuster drug, prescribed to millions worldwide. But behind the scenes, data began to surface linking Vioxx to increased risks of heart attacks and strokes. Despite the growing evidence, the manufacturer continued to market the drug aggressively. It wasn't until 2004, when the death toll became impossible to ignore, that Vioxx was finally withdrawn. The damage? Tens of thousands of lives lost. But why were these drugs allowed in the first place? How did they bypass the stringent tests meant to protect the public? The truth lies in the murky waters of pharmaceutical regulation, where profit often takes precedence over safety. Behind closed doors, powerful companies employ armies of lobbyists to influence regulators, ensuring their products reach the market as quickly as possible. In some cases, critical safety data is buried, ignored, or manipulated. And when profits are at stake, even the lives of patients become expendable. Take the case of OxyContin, a powerful opioid introduced in the mid-1990s. Marketed as a safe, non-addictive painkiller, it was prescribed in massive quantities. But what wasn't widely known was the drug's highly addictive nature. As prescriptions soared, so did the number of addicted patients. The opioid crisis had begun, and it's a crisis that continues to devastate communities to this day. The company behind OxyContin, Purdue Pharma, aggressively pushed the drug, despite knowing its dangers. The result, a public health catastrophe. Then there's the story of MPTP, a compound that emerged in the 1980s. Users believed they were taking synthetic heroin, but what they got instead was a chemical that destroyed their brain cells, leaving them paralyzed, trapped in a state that mimicked advanced Parkinson's disease. The drug was never intended for human consumption, but it slipped through the cracks, leaving those who took it with a lifetime of suffering. These stories are not isolated incidents. They are part of a larger pattern, one where banned drugs leave a trail of destruction in their wake. And while some of these drugs have been removed from the market, others continue to lurk in the shadows, their dangers not yet fully understood. In some cases, the banning of these drugs came too late. The damage had already been done, and no amount of compensation or apologies could undo the harm. Families were left grieving, lives were forever changed, and trust in the pharmaceutical industry was shattered. The dark reality of banned drugs is that they serve as a grim reminder of the potential consequences when the pursuit of profit overshadows the commitment to safety. It's a reality where the line between cure and poison becomes dangerously blurred, and where the very institutions meant to protect us can sometimes fail. As these stories unfold, one thing becomes clear. Vigilance is our only defense. Every new drug, every miracle cure, carries the potential for both hope and harm. The key is to remain informed, to question, and to demand transparency. Because, as history has shown, the stakes are too high to do otherwise. And while the stories of these banned drugs are chilling, they are also a call to action. A reminder that the safety of the public must always come first. The scars left by these drugs are a testament to the lives lost and the lessons learned. They are a warning, one that we cannot afford to ignore. But just when you think you've heard it all, another chapter in this dark saga emerges. What if some of these banned drugs found their way back onto the market, rebranded and repackaged? What if, right now, there are substances being prescribed with the same hidden dangers?